Imagine una see wetin money dey cost. Person come from South Africa alive. They say common malaria na it pass sister. Make una dey ask me where they for dey see money. Oh, money not be everything. Oh.
We need to talk about this story. A South African girl who visited Nigeria on the 17th of December 2024 was said to have died mysteriously 5 days later under a very unusual circumstance. Although we are hearing she may have died from malaria, many people believe she may have been used for money rituals. The young lady who goes by the name of Primrose Felicita Day left Cape Town on the 17th of December to visit a friend in Nigeria. Now, the friend that she came to see in Nigeria is where we are having issues with this story. Her people did not exactly know what she had come to do or who she had come to see. She is an adult, so obviously her life, her business. However, after she passed, her family got the news of her death. They began trying to make arrangements for her body to come home. At the same time, they had questions. But they did not know who to ask until she was linked to a not so popular Nigerian artist named Snazzy Nyanga Emmanuel. I've never heard of him.
Please guys, share this video for women to learn and follow this page for more information about this matter.
Lived in South Africa, and he was the one posting videos of himself and the late Primrose, which caught a lot of people's attention because now it's clear who she may have seen in Lagos, whom she may have come to see in Lagos, and he becomes the obvious choice to answer the question as to what happened to her. Now, it was said he first shared a video of himself with Primrose having dinner at the restaurant in Lagos. He shared this video on the 30th and captioned it, "Many people that love me unconditionally don't die finish," which was clear he was referring to her. But according to him, this video was made on the 18th of December, the day after she arrived in Lagos. Which in my opinion, it's clear and believable that she had come to see him. Now, people started reaching out to him more often when they realized that there were more videos of the two of them together on his page. So at this point, it is clear that Emmanuel knew who Primrose was. And it was obvious to a lot of us that she had come to visit him. And so many people began calling him out, asking him questions as to what happened to this girl. How does a healthy girl leave her hometown in South Africa to Nigeria only to die of malaria 5 days later? And Emmanuel responded, explaining himself. According to his own point of view, he had known Primrose for 5 years, from way back to when he was in South Africa, and that her first time of visiting Nigeria was in April of 2024, earlier that same year, and that it was possible at the time she had come to visit him. However, he claims that this her second visit in December was not for him, indicating that Primrose has many Nigerian friends, many male Nigerian friends, and that one of them may have been the one who sponsored her coming over for the holidays. And about his dinner with her on the 18th, he said that it was just casual, that they just hung out at a restaurant. You know, one of those visits where she's like, "Hey, what's up, Emmanuel? I'm in Lagos now. Can we chill? Can we hang out?" And they agreed to meet at the restaurant, pretty much insinuating that after this dinner date, she went back to whomever she was staying with, and he went back to his house. And according to him still, during this dinner date, she told him that she wasn't feeling fine, that she wasn't feeling well. And he was like, okay, maybe it's because of the flight. You know, she had just arrived the day before. So he responded with, it could have been the flight and the time difference, or one of those jet lag situation. However, the next day after this supposed dinner date, things got worse for Primrose because she was then hospitalized. Emmanuel said that on the 19th, Primrose sent him this video of her in the hospital. And I guess this was when things became clear that her sickness was pretty serious. She was on drip and she was admitted in the hospital. According to him, he already had plans to travel to his hometown for the Christmas holiday, but promised to call her once he's there and settled. And so on the 21st of December, he said he kept trying her phone number, but it wasn't going through. However, on the 22nd, somebody called him. He claimed it was a friend of Rose that called him to tell him that Primrose was dead and that she died of malaria. It's not clear how he took it, but he may have taken this news as that of someone who had lost a friend, because that was when he made that post talking about, all the people that love me unconditionally are dead. And, he went on to say she was a very humble girl, a very nice person, and that since he's an artist, she was a fan of his. But the problem is, many people don't believe him. He's making it look as though he knows nothing, because even the friend that called him to tell him about her death, he still hasn't given the name of that person. People still don't know who she actually went to meet. If at all, it wasn't him. In his comment section, a lot of people are expressing that he had used that for money rituals. But Emmanuel is pretty much unbothered because he's actually responding to this comment saying that he has nothing to hide, that his hands are clean, that he knows nothing about her death other than the fact that she actually did complain to him that she was sick. The thing now is he still hasn't said who the girl came to see. People believe that if he was not the one she came to visit, then he definitely know whom she had come to visit. But he's not giving out that information. It's not clear if he was asked or if it's in his place. Maybe he knows the person, maybe he doesn't. But for the fact that the person actually called him to tell him that she had died, there is that possibility that he's aware of whom she had come to see. Even though he indicated that she had over 100 male friends in Nigeria, that could have been anyone that had sponsored her to come for the holidays. The news of her passing actually became a lot more viral in January when her family were asking for donations to transport her body back to South Africa for burial. And people realized that her friend Emmanuel seemed to be flashing wealth because he's still posting, showing off his luxury life, showing off his wealth and his money and his lavish lifestyle. So since he's friends with Primrose, why doesn't he step up to sponsor her body being taken back home to her family? On that note, he will most likely step up now that it's been mentioned, but I would assume part of the reason why he would not do anything at the initial time other than post about losing a friend is maybe because for real she did not come to visit him and that she was with somebody, and all things being equal, whomever was the one who paid her flight and sponsored her over should be the one to cater for her being transported back home. He's just getting a lot of the heat because he's more like the famous one and he's more like the one who is posting videos with her. So he's the one that many South Africans know to be with her. I mean, these videos is a lot of proof that you know her and that she came to see you still. And if there was anyone else that she had come to visit, he would know. Another problem now Emmanuel might be facing is serious threats from South Africans who are saying that if he comes to South Africa, they might deal with him. Someone cited that he has a show on the 11th in South Africa since he's an artist, and they threatened to call the police to lock him up regarding her death. And some other person was like, why call the police when we can do it ourselves? So at this point, many South Africans believe he had a hand in her death, saying that it doesn't usually end well for a lot of South African women who date Nigerian men. On the flip side, Emmanuel is still standing his ground, saying that he's not afraid because he didn't really do anything to this girl. Now, as at the time of making this video, this is as far as we know. The family are all about trying to get her body back to South Africa. Maybe there they would conduct an autopsy to reveal her actual cause of death. If at all it was malaria, or if at all it was something else. But here is my thing. I still feel like, regardless of the situation, whoever she went to see for real, if it wasn't Emmanuel, should come forward and step out. Because the more the person remains a mystery, the more it's believable that they use her for something. It is also possible that she had underlying health issues that escalated when she came here. I wouldn't be surprised that that may have played a role. At the same time, this is something that we need to know for a fact. This is something that a post-mortem result would have to show us. This is something that the guy she was living with in Nigeria would have to come out, show his face, and say his own side to clear his name and make this situation a lot more vivid. And maybe help Emmanuel, because right now, people think he's the one that killed her. And people are already threatening his life if he goes to South Africa. So Emmanuel, if you're watching this video and you know who this girl was with, just mention a name. Unless, of course, you know what happened with her and you're just trying to make it not your problem. And I will also suggest you cancel your January 11th show in South Africa, because let's face it, I'm sure not many people bought tickets, and so it's probably not going to be worth it anyway. I don't know who is going to pay to want to watch him perform, but people would pay to fuck him up. So Emmanuel, maybe you should remain in your village or remain in Nigeria for the time being, because this is not looking good. Many South Africans are furious, and I understand the concern. I also want to know, because it's suspicious. It's even malaria don't kill people within 5 days. If somebody has malaria, you won't be dying in 5 days, or would you? Because I'm not so sure. I don't think so. 5 days from arriving in Nigeria to your death, and it's malaria, I don't believe that. I feel like there gotta be something. If she wasn't poisoned or killed, it had to be something. I also like the fact that she shared a video in the hospital with Emmanuel. Maybe Emmanuel is really her friend. Another thing again that I would like to sound off to is that, there gotta be somebody she told. I'm sure somebody in her family, in her friend cycle, know the exact man she had come to see in Nigeria. It was dirty December. Many people were flying to Nigeria, even Hollywood singers and reality stars, and they were coming to Nigeria. So she coming to Nigeria that period of time wasn't exactly something that should be off-putting. However, we still need to know who she had come to see. And whoever that person is needs to explain what happened to her with evidence. Just clear this up. But I sure do believe that an autopsy and a postmortem will save us a lot of stress, so that the family can get closure. Because again, it is not far-fetched that she died from illness or natural causes. It's possible. Now, there are rumors that Emmanuel is a pimp, and she may have been pimped to someone. So that is just one of those things. Nigerians don't exactly have the best lights in South Africa. They don't particularly see many Nigerian men, especially, in the best lights. It's either about drugs or Yahoo or fraud, or pretty much pimping and prostituting their women. On the flip side, when I think about it, Emmanuel, if Primrose was truly your friend and a good friend to you, and somebody who you claim loved you unconditionally, I think you owe it to her to let people know who she had come to see. And you also owe it to her to ask whoever she had come to see questions and encourage them to come out and clear their name if they did not do anything to her. However, if you keep hiding it and protecting the person she had come to see, it kind of makes you look like you know something and you're not telling us. If indeed she was your friend, you would do that for a friend. That is the least you could do. Me personally, given everything he has said, I sort of believe him. I believe that this time around, he probably wasn't the one who sponsored her coming. And maybe that is why he's not so concerned about how her body is taken back. Because it's possible Primrose is one of those girls that, love to be in the company of men, or men love her company and would pay a lot of money to have her around. She's pretty and she has beautiful assets that a lot of Nigerian men find attractive. So I can see that somebody would pay so much money to have her around. And I also believe, Emmanuel, that she clearly would have many options. I don't think it's one option. I don't think he's the only one. I'm sure with a figure like that, there will be so many men at her beck and call. But like I've said before, I feel like somebody should know. Even if Emmanuel doesn't know who, her family or her friends or somebody, before she left South Africa, you don't just travel from one country to another to meet a strange man and not tell somebody. It's not possible. It doesn't make sense. The only way Emmanuel was linked to her is because Emmanuel was posting videos after her death. That is the only way. And he was just showing the tributes as a friend. So if he hadn't made those videos, she would not have been linked to him. And now he has to face all the rage and all the curses and all the crosses that comes with South Africans losing one of their women in Nigeria. And to be honest, in as much as he has given us answers, he still needs to provide more details. I also believe that he's not done saying everything he knows. So we just have to wait and see. We really have to wait and see. I do hope our family don't let this go. I hope they keep going to find answers. And if her body gets home, they should conduct their own autopsy to find out what really happened to her. And if there is something fishy, they also need to find out the man she was with. Whoever that person is, should be fished out. I hope the Nigerian government cooperates with the South African government to find answers as to what happened to this young lady, so that we're all sure and we know what really happened. That way, more people will feel the need to be either more careful or understand that they could also feel safe when they come to Nigeria to visit anyone of their choosing. So let's just see how this goes, but you guys let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think that her death was as a result of money rituals, or do you think she probably really died of natural causes? Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and also turn on your notification button so whenever there is a new video or an update, you'll be the first to get notified.